Hello, this is Slice in Asia, and so far, 2023 has gone off to a rather eventful start. In this particular video, we'll be discussing China's abrupt easing of pandemic control restrictions, which has now led to the reopening of its borders for international travelers after nearly 3 years. While exciting and joyous news for many, it has led to a reaction which has included some renewed border restrictions and requirements from other countries taking a second look at their policies for arriving passengers, especially those coming in from China. To recap how we got here, while the world has gradually reopened following the COVID-19 pandemic, China continued to implement strict restrictions, which has been called its zero-COVID policy. The application of these restrictions were also happening in Hong Kong and Macau, two of China's special administrative regions. While international travel was heavily restricted to and from China, the country did allow some limited commercial flights to and from the country, so the majority of air travel in China occurred domestically. This appears to be changing as there has been some political pressure, leading to the Chinese government gradually rolling back their strict local policies, and that includes reopening its borders for international travel. The timing of this comes as we are approaching the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday, and along with China easing its border restrictions, Hong Kong has also further eased its entry requirements, which includes the end of quarantine upon arrival protocols. A similar protocol change was also made in the Chinese mainland, dropping its quarantine requirement upon arrival and the application for a health code. With the resumption of the issuance of visas to China, China now requires travelers to undergo an RT-PCR test taken within 48 hours before arrival. In addition, China has also reopened its border with Hong Kong per day, with a quota of 60,000 travelers being able to cross between both the SAR and China, though the condition is to register online prior to travel. These moves have been a contrast to what we have seen over the last few years in China and Hong Kong, which have been heavily criticized for the handling of the pandemic policies. While there has been some enthusiasm by many, there is also reports of cases and hospitalizations, which has led to a cause of concern from other countries around the world. Some countries are bringing back travel requirements for travelers from China bound to their countries. Among the first countries to do so was Japan, which announced a test requirement and limited flights between the Chinese mainland, including Hong Kong. Other countries such as Taiwan, the US, Canada, the UK, France, and Spain have since followed with similar measures. Meanwhile, in Thailand, they implemented a policy to reimpose the requirement to be vaccinated against COVID-19 for entry to their country. This rule would have applied to all incoming travelers to Thailand over the age of 18 except for Thai nationals and those in transit. However, this rule was met with criticism and uproar, and the policy has since been rescinded. In Malaysia, after a review of its protocols, Malaysia announced there would be special lanes for travelers coming in from China at their airports. Those symptomatic will be referred to health officials and undergo COVID-19 testing and additional screenings. In contrast to some of the other countries that have imposed testing requirements, it doesn't seem to be discriminatory, as Malaysia's Health Director General Hisham Abdullah stated, quote, "Right now we're worried not just about the cases from China, but other countries that are experiencing a rise in cases, such as the United States, Japan, and others." While geopolitics continue to play a role in the ongoing reopening of China to the international travel scene, the last few days has been seeing the scenes of happy reunions and excitement for travel once anew in China along with Hong Kong and Macau. On the first day of the reopening of the Hong Kong-China border, it has been reported that there was nearly 50,000 people who crossed the border between China and Hong Kong for the first time in 3 years. This comes after a reported 300,000 bookings for travel from Hong Kong to mainland China. Along with that, you can see images and videos across the web showing joyful and happy reunions at major Chinese ports of entry. Along with being reopened for international travelers coming to China, the economic impact of the reopening of its borders will provide a major source of visitors, especially for neighboring countries. Prior to the pandemic, Chinese travelers were a very large contingent of travelers around the world, and the excitement for travel can be seen as TripAdvisor reports that visa applications to destinations have gone up, and hotel bookings from the Chinese mainland surged by a large 500% year-to-year increase. After 3 years, China's borders are open and there has been a mixed reaction. Though China being a major market for visitors going to other parts of Asia, this development has seen a mix of emotions of joy and happiness, but also a bit of unease. What are your thoughts on the reopening of China's borders to international travel? I definitely would love to hear your take, though in the meantime, this has been Flights in Asia, highlighting the news and updates from the aviation and travel scene in the Asia Pacific. For more of the latest updates, you can check out the website at www.flightsinasia.com. In the meantime, thank you for watching and have a great day.